Talk to me,
Welcome to Purpose Wednesday. I'm Coach Latasha S. Morgan, and I'm here to help you unlock your true potential.
Hello there. Welcome to Purpose Wednesday. I'm Latasha Morgan, certified Christian life coach, certified professional life coach, board certified master Christian mental health coach, and a whole lot of other goodies, honey. I've had an amazing day, and I pray that you have had an amazing day as well. I also pray that every day to come is even greater and more amazing than the one before. Listen, we have a wonderful show for you tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about obedience. Looks boring before it looks powerful. Let's be honest, obedience doesn't always feel or look or seem powerful. Sometimes it feels routine, unnoticed, quiet. And that's where we lose momentum because we want to feel big, right? We want something that feels big, but God often gives us something that looks and feels small. But here's the truth. Obedience looks boring before it looks powerful. In 2 Kings chapter 5, we know that Naaman has just been healed, right? He followed the instruction God. He didn't want to, that Elijah gave to go dip into the river, right? He didn't want to do it. He felt like he should have received something greater, right? We talked about that last year. I mean, not last year, but last week. But he followed the instruction. He humbled himself. He obeyed, and God restored him. He made him whole. He no longer had to worry about leprosy, but his obedience gave him the reward of wholeness. But here comes Naaman, and he asks Elijah to give him gifts, and Elisha rejects that, right? So he doesn't want any payment, no exchange, just grace is given. The story doesn't end with Naaman, because right after obedience, we see what happens when someone chooses another path. Gehazi, he is the servant of Elisha, close to power, close to the miracles that have been performed with being with Elisha, that God has done through him. He's close to the truth. He's just not aligned with it. And watch how subtle things begin to happen, how subtle things change. So in 2 Kings chapter 5, verses 20 through 27, we're going to go through the story, okay? So Gehazi decides that since Naaman is leaving and Elijah has declined the gifts that Naaman wanted to give, because he believes that he should be given something, Gehazi decides that he's going to run after Naaman, right? Without any, and that's in verse 20, without any permission, without instructions, and he just made a decision to do it. He's a servant of Elisha, but instead of being a servant, he is trying to be greater than that. He is stepping out of his position to go after something that doesn't belong to him. All because he believes that it is more powerful to get something than it is to follow instructions and be obedient. And now he's chasing Naaman and lying on the prophet. He's prophet lying. He had the nerve to chase something that was not his. Instead of chasing his purpose, he was chasing things that seemed to look like and feel what he felt should belong to him. He said, Elisha, my master should be taking these things. In other words, he felt as if Elijah was foolish not to take something. But Elijah used wisdom because it didn't belong to him. Naaman did not owe Elisha the glory for what God had done for him. So he rejected the gifts. But let's get back to Gehazi. This is where it gets real. Like I said, he's not chasing purpose. He's chasing what's for someone else to receive. Yeah. Gehazi was operating out of greed, not out of need. And that's the dangerous thing, because not everything you see is meant for you. Sometimes things are a sign, and sometimes things are grace specific. And when you don't discern the difference, you start chasing what never was meant for you. And how many times have we looked at somebody else's stuff? Oh, just today, I was looking right before I started to do Purpose Wednesday. I was looking at my views and I said, why isn't mine like other people's? Oh my God, they have 600 and something views on theirs, all these subscribers, and I've looked at things before and I've said that. But what if some things are assigned? So some things are grace specific. Everything isn't meant for me yet. Sometimes you just gotta grow into certain things. Oh, but let's hold it. Stop chasing what doesn't belong to you and start obeying God. Whether it's boring, doing the same old, or not. Do what God has told you to do. Verse 22 says, my master has sent me. He lied, like I said. Now he puts Elijah's name on it. And this is where it gets uncomfortable too, because people don't always say, I'm out of alignment. They always want to say, God led me. Such and such told me. Now this made sense. I felt peace about it. And the whole time it's just them. It's just them saying it, not God. But let's be clear. If God didn't say it, don't attach his name to it. That's just wrong. If God didn't send you, don't go. If God didn't approve it, don't do it. Okay? Now, underneath all of this that Elisha is doing is motive. Not Elijah. Gehazi is doing is motive. He just wants something. Gehazi didn't move because he was led by God or led by Elijah, like I said, or given instructions to do it. He moved because of something he wanted, his greed, what he believed he deserved, or what Elijah deserved. So he decided that if Elijah wasn't going to get it, if his master wasn't going to get it, he was going to get it himself. Sometimes we're like, if God is not going to do it, we're going to do it ourselves because we feel we deserve it. And that's your clue that you don't deserve it. That's your clue that you're not ready to receive what God has for you. God isn't going to open up doors that you're not ready to walk through. I've been in that moment what I've said to God, and honey, some people are just surprised the way I say things to God. But hey, I've known God for so many years. It's just, he knows me because I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. So, but I've said to God, before you're taking too long, so maybe I should just do it myself, right? And guess what? I haven't even gotten there yet. Because if God isn't in it, it isn't going to work in a way. You're not going to get to where God wants you to go until you do what God has told you to do. You're not going to receive what God has for you until you obey what he has said. So back to Gehazi. Yeah, we're talking about him again. He didn't move because he was led, we know. He did it because he wanted something. He was greedy. He felt he deserved something that wasn't his, that didn't belong to him. And he didn't ask himself, why do I want this? Why do I think this belonged to me? And we don't ask that question either, because wrong motives wear right language. So he takes it. He takes what doesn't belong to him. Naaman gives him, it says here in verse 24:3, it says that he is given 2 talents of silver and 2 baths and 2 changes of garment, and handed them to 2 of his servants, and they carried them on ahead of him. But when Gehazi gets to the citadel, he hides it. He hides the stuff he's received from Naaman. Now, why hide? something you thought was rightfully yours. You only hide something that you know is wrong because you never have to protect what's right. You only have to protect what's wrong. And in verse 25, he goes before Elisha. He goes in front of him. And Elisha says, "Where do you go, Gehazi?" He says in verse 25, "I didn't go anywhere." Now he's lying again, because you know when you tell one lie, you got to tell another to cover up the first lie you told, right? Because once you step out of obedience, you have to keep building the story. You have to keep building the lie. And that's how small decisions turn into heavy consequences. Not all at once, but step by step. Because in verse 26, Elijah said, "Oh, why are you lying to me? Did my heart go with you? What is in my spirit with you when you went to Naaman's chariot and got all of that stuff?" Just because, honey, you move out of the sight of other people doesn't mean that God doesn't see what you're doing. You are never outside of God's eyesight. Just remember that. Gehazi forgot that. All of that time he'd been with Elijah. Come on, dude. You knew better than that. Sorry about my necklace sound, You knew about that. You knew that God would see you. But you lied anyway. There are consequences to your actions. No matter what you do, God can see you, and there are going to be consequences, because in verse 27, guess what? Gehazi got that, right? Verse 27, Elisha says, then he said to him verse 27, therefore the leprosy of Naaman shall cling to you and your descendants forever. And he went out from his presence leprous, as white as snow. The leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto thee. What he did caused even his descendants to be cursed. His descendants had to pay the cost, the price for his greed. Naaman was healed from it, and Gehazi picked it up. Let that sit for a moment. Let it sit that sometimes the decisions you make have an effect on those who come after you. Decisions I make can have a cause and effect on the people I minister to, the people that minister to me, the people around me, and the people that come behind me. So whether that decision is good or bad, it's going to have an effect. And the decision is up to me to make the right decision. This is the weight of this message, though. Naaman obeyed and walked away free, while Gehazi disobeyed and walked away carrying what Naaman left behind. And here's the part we need to hear. Gehazi didn't just make a bad decision. We're not just making bad decisions. We are picking up a burden that was never meant for us to carry. I know you're saying, so what does it mean for me? Well, it means that we have to slow down. We have to pay attention and use discernment, and not always start moving and running behind what we think belongs to us, or what looks good or seems as if it will be good for us. But we have to use discernment and find out and know exactly what has been assigned to us instead of what looks good. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing and thinking that that's your portion. It doesn't belong to you. That's something that belongs to them. They ain't done the work to be there right now. You wait for your turn. It means we have to be honest about our motives, not just our actions. It means that we have to choose integrity, even when no one is looking, okay? And listening. It means that we have to understand very deeply that our decisions carry weight, even the small ones. They also have consequences. Remember, obedience may seem boring, but it may just be protecting you from something that you were never meant to carry. Have a great night, and thank you for watching Purpose Wednesday. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.